Welcome to Tales from the Flipside for our first live episode of Deal or Flipside. Make sure. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce all the contestants. Let's start with our special guest, Ninth Wonder.
Hey, what up, everybody? It's Ninth Wonder. You can catch me on IG at The Ninth Wonder as it's spelled on the screen. Same thing on YouTube. I'm happy to be here and ready to see what kind of deals or flip sides we can get into tonight.
Thank you for joining us, Nico.
Yeah, I'm Nico. I'm still wondering why the fuck we don't have the cool graphic of Aaron Yee going.
It's coming.
All right. I feel better now.
Yep, Steve from My Bargain Comics. Haven't done Deal or Flipside. It seems like it's been like maybe 3 weeks, so glad to be back. Glad to be live.
I know, right? Tony from Blue Green Artifacts. Good to see everybody. Welcome, Ninth Wonder. This is going to be cool.
Hey, this is Phil with Vintage Comics and Toys. I'm excited to see what our fans and viewers have picked for us for the show tonight. How's it going, Joe?
Good. This is Red Hood Comic, your friendly neighborhood comic presser. Good to be here. Let's get it on.
Best presser in Texas. So, yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Rob's Comics. Rob, thank you for your submissions. You submitted 3, and then we have a few more from all kinds of different users from Instagram to, some work friends that also are into comics. So here's the graphic you've been waiting to see, Nico.
Yes.
All right. So let's start with our first set of books.
Perfect Photoshop.
This is from my homie Palvaran. He submitted this to me at work, and he was saying, what's better to compare than 2 different first Wolverine appearances? So we have NYX number 3 at a 9.8 that sold for $1,924 versus an Incredible Hulk number 180 that sold for at a 7.0 that sold for $1,805. Let's go ahead and start with Joe. What do you think?
Man, I got a 7.5. I think I need to list it on the Incredible Hulk, man. Jesus Christ. $1,800. Wow. NYX number 3 was on fire for the longest time, and then it just plateaued. I think there's a lot of upside with NYX 3. I'm going with the 9.8. I'd love to have a 9.8 copy. I don't have it. I take the 9.8. Final answer.
Which book are you picking, Ninth Wonder?
Oh man, I would have to go with the 180, just because I feel like Hulk, Wolverine, those are 2 characters that are cemented. You don't really have to worry about if they'll show up in any movies, how they'll show up. They're already going to be there. If Marvel somehow demolishes and comes back in 10 years, that those characters will be there. X-23, I can't say the same. I understand why the book is going for what it's going for these days, but I just feel like you can't beat the type of long-term investment that that 180 is gonna get you.
Cool.
And let us know in the chat which book you would pick. So, sorry for interrupting you, Phil.
No worries. I would do the Hulk 180 as well. It's trailing the 181. It's got that conspiracy theory that it is the first actual Wolverine, and that just is still viral wherever I see on social media. The Nix 3 is a great book, and but yeah, we're gonna see Wolverine first. So final answer, Hulk 180, CGC 7.0. What do you think, Joe? I mean, Tony.
Let's see. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Incredible Hulk 180. I'm firmly in the camp that a first appearance is a first appearance. All this full cameo BS. I get it when it's not in part of the story, if it's like a preview or something like that, but this is the first appearance Wolverine. I don't own that book. That's one of the reasons I had a NYX3 and sold it at about half that price, and regretting that now. Love that character. It's not the easiest 9.8. It's a good book to have. I'd love to see some sort of like future Disney Plus series with her and Honey Badger and, you know, roaming the country. But I gotta go with Wolverine, man. Final answer.
Yeah, I'm going to change my pick. Hulk 180. Thanks.
No refunds.
No go backs.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I agree with Tony that to me, the first time a character shows up in a book and it's like not a shadow or a foot or a hand, I kind of agree that that's the first appearance, just to simplify. The only reason it's not simplified like that is because everybody is vying for the book that they own or the book that they own the most. But with this 180, at the end of the day, this is a classic, timeless book. It's nice to have the 180 and the 181, whatever, but you can't go wrong with this 180. It holds just as much weight as pretty much any other first appearance in the history of Marvel continuity almost.
Well said.
All right, so I'll pick, and first I'll say that, you know, I don't like to get involved in the first cameo, first full things. So I think we should just call everything an early appearance, right? Now you may see me in my eBay listings. I'll put first, but that's only because first is 3 characters and early is 5 characters, and you know you got to be judicious with the use of characters. So I will take
the fire emoji and the key in there, right?
Well, yeah, you got to leave room for those, of course, because Google search engine loves the emojis, and it definitely improves your search rankings from outside sources. Anyhow, I'll take this early appearance of Wolverine over this early appearance of X-23, and the reason is, on this show, on the Deal of Flipside, a lot of time I talk about catalysts. And so when I think about catalysts, man, the catalyst for X-23, you know, quadrupling or something like that, or tripling, seems far off. You know, I've been thinking recently about the MCU and mutants, and there's just so many frickin' mutants to pick from. You know, which ones do you place your bets on? And we saw the heat on X-23 during the leading up to the Logan movie and during that movie. But, you know, that movie is a couple years in the past. I don't know when Disney Marvel will get back to her in media outside of comics. I'm sure they will, but I think her daddy will appear first in the MCU and media. Speaking of daddy, I mean, she's not the only child. You know, we know Wolverine, you know, likes to spread his seed far and wide. So there's nothing to say that X-23 will be the first. So. I'll conclude and just once again say 180. My pick.
Great question, great comparison, and honestly, I don't know that it's as cut and dry as everybody on the panel suggests. First and foremost, I would like to offer, I can provide my home address. I'll trade 180s for 181s. I've got a 9.4. I'd like to trade, and ASM 299s for 300s for that. It's just an open offer. It's a standing offer from now until I die. But beyond that, I think Steve's analysis is the proper analysis, right? Like, in what degree can NYX3 double, compare, at least increase 50%? When can it go from 2K to 3K compared to Hulk 180 and 7.0? And NYX3 and a 9.8 is a really freaking hard book with a short census. And while I, again, agree with everyone's analysis that, X23 might be a decade down the road, if ever, that doesn't mean that the speculation surrounding her from a market that legitimately is like, price tags 5 years in the future may not see this book, literally jump to 4K like that. Do I think that's going to happen with Incredible Hulk 180? I don't know. But if, it's a matter of spending $2,000, I'll take safe money. I think the riskier play is Laura Kinney. It's certainly got bigger rewards, but I think the panel of shrewd investors, shrewd buyers is on point with Hulk 180. Final answer.
Well, him and Dollar, what do you think?
Thanks, Aaron. There's a lot of 9.8s of NYX3. I think it's just shy of like 2,000. Character driven wise, ceiling. I think Incredible Hulk 180 is more a victim, or for lack of a better term, consequences of what's happening to the market right now. This book in this grade, especially off-white to white pages, I think a year before the pandemic or a little bit before that, I think was I don't know, 35 to 40% less than it was right now. Now, given the 9.8 has moved up, but the NYX3 9.8 has held value for a long time. I mean, sure, we saw the spikes with the Logan movie or what have you, but it has held value for a long time. The new X-Men reboot that was on FOC last week, she is taking the mantle of Wolverine. I believe she's the Wolverine in the comics right now. NYX3 with Laura Kinney, she's attached to Daphne Keene. Daphne Keene has already said multiple times in multiple confirmed articles from reputable sites that she is open and very willing to play X23 Laura Kinney again. Don't get it twisted. There's no rumors there. I'm just saying she's been asked and she's very, very open to do it. Multiple different articles as well. For me personally, I think when the market kind of fluctuates, I see Incredible Hulk 180 actually going down. And I think actually probably not a sharp decline, but I see more of a decline than the NYX3 for this reason. For these reasons, excuse me. First, I believe the orders by retailers were under 33,000 for that book. Even though there are plentiful 9.8s on the census, it is a tough 9.8. And on top of that, rumor has it there's a new D+ Wolverine movie. In my opinion, with Dawkins all rumored, I've seen it before. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Disney Plus Wolverine or something that's attached to Wolverine that is coming to Disney Plus or series or whatever, that she could be the Wolverine. So my final answer is NYX3.
Great stuff. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to have to take the gamble too and pick NYX3. It's hard to pass up on the 9.8. I mean, I know the price has just increased within the last couple of months, and I probably should have picked it up, probably like 6 months ago when 9.8s were they floating around 1,000, 1,200, something like that?
Yep. About 1,000, 1,200,
give or
yep.
take. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because I know I saw 9.6s for easily like $600, and I was like, man, I should have picked that up because I think those are hitting like 1,000 now at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pass up on a classic book like Hulk 180. You know, for anyone that's like trying to complete the trinity of 180 to 182. You know, which I've said in the past on the show. But yeah, so final answer is going to be NYX3 for me. So thank you for your submission. So let's see what our next one is.
King Kong balls from Aaron and fucking Dollar. I love it.
All right. So this is from Rob's Comics. We have Wonder Woman number 204, which is a 5.5 Mark Jewelers, versus a Gamora number 2 Matina variant 1 in 25 9.8 that sold for $389. And the Wonder Woman sold for $350.99. So what do you think, Nico? What are you picking?
Fucking Wonder Woman 204 Mark Jewelers all day, every day. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not necessarily a big fan of Matina for every single reason that we're all acutely aware of, and I appreciate that that the Gamora variant is way down, an incredible work of art and incredibly underpriced. But talk about two steals. God bless Rob for hipping us to the fact that there still are buys in this market. I like Nubia as a long-term investment. I'm particularly fond of things like Mark Jeweler variants, and I'll take silver over modern ratios all day. It's just the kind of buyer I am. Wonder Woman 204, Mark Jeweler. Final answer.
So I'm gonna give the same answer. It only took nearly 50 years, but DC's finally marketing Nubia. I believe there's a graphic novel out. There's supposed to be a comic out. You know, I think people hadn't been paying attention until about 5 years ago to Wonder Woman 204. I think until the first Wonder Woman movie really got people's eyes on the book and the character. And you know, as many of you know, I love the niches in the hobby, like DCUs and Mark Jewelers speaks to me in a similar way. So maybe if this was a 5.5 and not a Mark Jewelers, maybe I'd have a little bit more hesitation. But because it's a Mark Jewelers, that's kind of cool. So I'd go 204. With Gamora, they've tried to launch these solo series with the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, and none of them have taken off. And I've seen kind of a similar, I guess, lackadaisical type interest in the characters. I mean, we can see that. Definitely for sure. It's escaping me right now, of course, because I want to recall it. But Nubia's sister in the movie. Help me out here.
Talking about Nebula?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Nebula's undervalued. Mantis. I like to refer to Nebula as like no one's favorite character. I think Gamora. I'm sure this is someone's favorite character. I think Gamora is a little bit more liked, but I don't know. It just seems disappointing. The Guardians books are definitely in a lull, and it'll be interesting to see as we get closer to the third film and the holiday special what happens. But yeah, I'm taking Wonder Woman 204 Mark Jewelers all day, every day. Final answer.
I'm gonna jump off what you just said, Steve, and I really agree on that, and I don't know the answer why those Guardian books, the Guardians movies have been some of the most well received films in the MCU. I mean, there's I know people who hate superheroes and hate MCU stuff, but they've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 100 times. But those characters, you know, Rocket. I mean, not that those books are don't have any value, but
right,
you know, not compared to you know, the U.S. agent. I mean, you know,
or X-23
showing up, who are showing up in or rumored to show up, compared to, you know, characters who are very well cast and well written. And so I don't know what the answer is there. I'm not a Matina lover. I know the whole drama. I realize this book is way down from where it has been. So as a seller, that's a nice buying opportunity, perhaps, if it can jump back up again. We were talking before the show, though. I live in the Midwest, and we have, unless I'm buying from somewhere else, we have zero access to Mark Jewelers variants. And I'm gonna go with the top one. I'm gonna go with Wonder Woman 204, the Mark Jewelers variant. I picked up my very first, believe it or not, my very first Mark Jewelers variant today. So I'm gonna go with the Wonder Woman and be happy with my decision.
Yeah, I feel like the Gamora variants are like, it's a kind of a crowded field. But that Gamora 2 is super undervalued. I looked at the market, and there's like a couple out there, one for $550, one for $600, and then the next one is $800. So a couple sales, and then maybe you have a shot of maybe getting a sale at around $800, right? If those other two sell. The Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming out in 2023, so it's a little bit far away. We're seeing some dips in the market, as these guys have been mentioning the past month. But with Wonder Woman, you actually have male and female collectors that are willing to spend big money to fill runs. They're like Spider-Man collectors, where they're looking to build the set, right, of the Golden Age books slowly. Those are expensive. And then the Silver Age books, I have met a lot of collectors of all ages seeking those out too. And this is a key and a Mark Jewelers variant. So, yeah, I do have a lot of modern books, and this would be a nice book to add to my variant collection for Gamora 2, but there's a probably higher probability of me flipping the Wonder Woman 204 55 MJ. So I'm going to go with that one. What do you think, Ninth Wonder?
So, personally, I think that sometimes as collectors and investors, we forget that comic books are not only an investment or, reading material, they are also time capsules. And when you get into these things like Mark Jeweler variants, which have a specific story to them and why that insert is in the comic book, I think it opens up to a different type of collector who might not just be into comic books, that's more into historical artifacts. And pieces like that always kind of, I like to gravitate towards those as long-term investments. With modern, I like to spec on modern just because it's more fun and you have more upside to, if you're on something early, you can turn that around for a big flip. But long-term investments, it's, the gold, the silver, that's what I'm looking at. And whenever you can tie a few things together, something historical like the Mark Jewelers inserts, and then you have a first appearance of a character. On top of that, it's the first Black powered hero in DC continuity, and it's tied to a timeless character like Wonder Woman. Honestly, I think this book is severely underpriced. That's just my personal opinion, and I know this book seeing higher gains is going to require DC to actually do something with the character and for DC to be stripped down and built up again. And that's asking a lot. But if that was to happen, I guarantee you this book would be at least double in value. If that never happens, this book still has value because it has historical significance behind it. And that's why I would choose the Wonder Woman 204 over the Gamora Matina, which is just it's a beautiful cover, but pretty much every week you have a beautiful cover, coming out by some artist, or, I can, I got several short boxes full of slabs that are beautiful covers, that go for $300-400, but the actuality of selling that and making the flip on it, those books don't sell as often as people would like them to. If that was the case, we would all be sitting high on the hog with these 1 in 25 and 1 in 50 ratio variants that we have. So it's an easy choice for me, the 204 all day. What about you, Hood?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. I mean, let's call it like it is. Like, if Wonder Woman, the last movie, was any good, that Wonder Woman book's $700. I mean, let's just keep it real. That movie, like, hurt the value of some of these Wonder Woman books. That movie was trash, man. Mark Jewler's variant, first appearance of a key character. I mean, there's no debate. Eventually, they'll fix their problem, and there'll be a better movie. And my God, Gal Gadot, Jesus. I'll go with the Wonder Woman 5.5 and the Guardians of the Galaxy. The reason there's no heat on these books is that the movies are completely different. There's good actors and great soundtrack. Like, if you want that same feeling, I guess you put on the movie soundtrack and you try reading the book. I mean, or looking at the book. But I mean, there's no heat for me on the Gamora number 2. Wonder Woman all day. Let's go.
So, I mean, that's pretty obvious. When you look at my background, which one I would probably pick. From an investor's point of view, though, this is a tough question because Mark Jewler, if you're not seasoned or, and haven't established that niche or niche of your own, some of this panel like foreign, some of this panel like Canadian price variants. Me personally, I like Modern Newsstand and Mark Jewler's. So yeah, Mark Jewler insert editions are still new to a lot of people, and I think the gentleman up above me made a good point. It opens up a new world especially for new collectors in the historic part. I thought that was actually a great point of view. On top of that, it's vintage. Here's the thing about the Gamora, though. The Gamora 9.8. I mean, right out the gate, this thing was popping. But when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 hit digital, the 9.8s literally they went from I think 350 to they doubled. They pretty much doubled. I mean, there was multiple. I mean, there's not a lot of these. First of all, I think there's less than 100 9.8s on the census. But I remember it was like $175 to $200 book, and then eventually it was like a $600 book out of nowhere. So next thing you know, my friends that are going to cons going into 2019. Actually, no, I'd say going into 2019, we're like, I'm looking for that Matina. And then all the stuff came out about Matina right around that time, and then Matina variants and covers started kind of drifting down, spawns or what have you. So I thought that was kind of part of why the book dropped as well. But personally, for my PC, I'm going with Wonder Woman 204, first Nebula. I mean, not Nebula. First black superhero, female superhero in continuity, Wonder Woman's sister. It's also a retcon of her new costume, Wonder Woman's new costume, which is a reintroduction, like an origin. I know on the census there's less than 2 of those, but on the investment side at $389.95, I'm going to take the Gamora to Matina, especially because you got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That's a few years ahead. You got What If. I think it's 1.4, so it's season 1, episode 4. Could be episode 1. I'm not sure. That's Nebula and Gamora, and some other characters that are getting voiced. Gamora's getting voiced over by the actor that plays Gamora. And there's also those rumors that are still swirling. I haven't heard them rehashed yet, but they're still in my mind about the Gamora or Nebula or both possible Disney Plus series. And at the end of Endgame, Gamora was Requiem, or is that how you say her name? She was in that Infinity Wars 2018 book. Well, what I've heard, I read a report. I don't know if it was on Bleeding Cool or Deadline, but the person that is looking into Gamora is thinking about turning her more into a vicious character. So I think that Gamora is going to be in the future is going to be, I wouldn't say retcon, but I would say more important in a sense. So from an investor's point of view, I'll take the Gamora 298 125 Matina. For my PC, I'll take the Wonder Woman 204 Mark Jewelers. And that's my final answer. Thank you.
Hey, all those characters come out in the Gamora number 2? Miles and Spider-Man and She-Hulk and the Avengers and the X-Men, all of them come out in that book? I mean, is it a key?
No, I think the seller is just trying to catch the search engines with those.
That's a bunch of BS, dude.
That's why I figured, that it was just used to, catch the search engines and stuff like that. But
yeah, I was going to say the surprising thing, there's only one bid on that Wonder Woman. Somebody got to steal, man.
I mean, it's probably was something where it was listed high to start out with. That was probably the starting bid, and then no one else kind of bid on it. That would be my assumption for it.
Yeah.
And just to to build up a little bit more off of what Rich was saying, I think we're still waiting to see like when Gamora is going to pop up again, because sorry about that. Hold on. Yeah, so we're still waiting for Gamora to pop up to see when she's gonna show up again, because it kind of left it at the end of Endgame unknown, right? And so as soon as she pops up, I think that Gamora book is just gonna launch off like crazy, because everyone's gonna be scrambling like, oh, where's that? FOMO is gonna be like hitting on that. And I haven't started collecting Mark Jewelers yet. I've started looking into it, and I've been considering like, what do I buy as my first Mark Jewelers? And it's probably not going to be a Wonder Woman 204. Sorry to say. I like taking gambles on DC books, but I think this is a gamble I'm going to make. So I would make the gamble on the Gamora too. All right. So for the next set of books I have, or that were submitted, we have Incredible Hulk #1. It's a raw copy, estimated as a fine condition, sold for $504, versus an Immortal Hulk #1, the Turkish glow-in-the-dark variant, signature series 9.8. I'm not sure if it's a 1 of 10 on the census, or if it's just 10 that exist. So this is from Rob also.
Dang.
Who wants to kick it off?
I'll go.
All right.
Man, I don't know anything about this Turkish glow-in-the-dark variant.
Do you want me to start, since I do?
Okay, go for it, Nico.
Yeah. All right. So, oh fuck. What's so hard? This is tough. I got a stack of those Turkish books.
I'll get out of here, dude.
Yeah, I swear to God, I didn't think they were worth a fucking nickel.
Dude, then send me one, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't think they were worth a nickel legitimately. There's the non-glow in the dark that were shorter printed. But I just bought the glow in the dark because I thought they were cool. And they're like trade paperbacks. And I think they're fucking cool, but I don't really give a shit about gold label books. I don't know who Mr. Sinar is or if I'm pronouncing his name correct, but I don't really care if Todd McFarlane signs my fucking books, and I really like his artwork too. So I will again take classic Silver Age Steranko. Are you fucking kidding me? Plus, I can't tell, obviously, because it's a small picture, but the book looks pretty nice for a fine. I know how they're pretty easy on those giant size books. I'll take a gamble there. Not that I don't own both and love the Hulk stuff, particularly since we're gonna have Kate's making everything go cuckoo. But yeah, White Cotton. There we go. Rob's fucking smart. I knew he would know that stuff. Yeah. Anyway. I'll take Silver Age. Sorry.
Right.
Done.
All right. I'll go next. And yeah, I'll take the Incredible Hulk special #1 all day.
Yeah.
Especially these modern Turkish books seem a little. I mean, I know we could argue that all variants are manufactured collectibles, but the Turkish ones, because I guess the minimum order there is 500, and then I guess you can get these special ones in smaller quantities, but it feels more like a manufactured collectible to me, and almost like a workaround the North American 3,000 minimum that Marvel has. So, yeah, I mean, I think they can spit these out all day for all types of books, and I don't know, maybe the more they do it, the less special it makes it. But there's only one Incredible Hulk special #1. So yeah, it's such a classic. Final answer: Incredible Hulk special #1. Tony?
I'm gonna agree with you guys. I got to go with the original. I don't hate homage covers, but I don't seek them out either. I'll say right off the bat though, Nico, and like Robert Fordham, and there's so many people who know so much more about foreign books, and there's probably a lot of
Not me
there.
Yeah, not me.
Well,
Robert.
I'm right now. I'm resisting getting sucked into that corner of the hobby because I would just spend all day looking for that stuff, and I spend enough money the way it is. So I might be missing an opportunity, but I'm gonna go with the Incredible Hulk special #1. The glow in the dark is tempting, but yeah, we'll go Incredible Hulk special #1.
Yeah, it's just like with that Immortal Hulk 1, you got to be like hoping that the Kate spec really hits, right? When he starts his story arcs and stuff. The Incredible Hulk special, I mean, that's just such a classic cover. It's so desirable. But if I'm in Vegas, yeah, I gotta do the special one. Square bound presents nice. I don't know how the back looks on this special one. It looks like a VF looking at it right now, but presenting nice, square bound. Yeah, I'm going with Incredible Hulk Special 1 for $500.
Yeah, this one is easy for me. I'm definitely going with the Incredible Hulk Special number 1. Modern, there's very few modern books that I would take over, like gold and silver books. And now it's even getting to the point where it's some bronze I'll take over some modern, but just, this one for me is really simple. I wouldn't overthink it at all. The Turkish glow in the dark variant is just not doing it for me, man, at all.
Yeah, I mean it's not even close. And if the scans of Incredible Hulk Special pan out, it is fine, or there's a lot of upside. I'm gonna clean and press that book, and I'm gonna get it graded. And if I ever wanted to flip it, I know I'm going to make some money. And that's why people get their books pressed also. I mean, they're buying raws online and they get their books pressed. I mean, that's the easiest way to get their money, $500 that seems like pretty cheap for the condition, the way it's presenting right there for $500. I mean, for that book has always been like on the list, it's not even close. But I'll take a Turkish glow in the dark from Nico if you want to give me one. What do you think, Dollar?
Man, whoever picked these books, this is good.
It's Robert again.
He's a fucking beast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love him. He's a good dude.
He might be replacing me like picking books now.
Very knowledgeable, very kind guy.
Just press that book, Dollar. Buy it.
Let's share the screen. Live purchase. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I'll use the investment PC kind of analogy, whatever, simile. For me personally, my PC, I go with the Strankle all day, every day, and on Sunday. The Incredible Hulk Special number 1. From an investment point of view, similar to the Mark Jewelers, I wouldn't say as aggressive, but foreigns are very unknown. And I believe that, one day, if it's, in a year or 10 years from now, people are going to open up to them. Give you an example, Incredible Hulk 181 German edition. I think it was released and published in like 99 or 2000. I mean, that's a $400 book, but that book looks and feels, like a Hulk 181. And the way that book is trajectorying, or the trajectory on that book, chances are people are going to be, looking for that book. It's kind of an aggressive, I guess you can say, example, but from an investor's point of view, long term for me, I will take the Immortal Hulk Turkish Glow in the Dark variant, signature series 9.8. And that's my final answer. And let me add one more point. I really truly believe that Professor Hulk in the MCU, at least for me, I didn't enjoy it. I was actually very disappointed. I thought he was a puss, and it bummed me out. And it looked too CGI too, also as well. I mean, when he was on the time machine and Endgame, and he was just hitting all the buttons. All right, turn off the power. I mean, it looked terrible. So my guess is the Russos probably, a lot of the community has shared my opinion, but my guess is the Russos have probably heard the complaint on the Professor Hulk. So along with Fix-It Feige. And my guess is that he's going to come back as either World Breaker Hulk, or he's going to come back as Immortal Hulk. And I mean, those are, in my opinion, are the two most vicious Hulks, Immortal Hulk 1 is actually, you know, a Hulk, Incredible Hulk, what, like 7,000? So, you know, but on an investor's point of view, I like the Immortal Hulk 9.8. There's not many of those. This guy, it's a 1 of 10. I don't really care for the glow in the dark, but I like the Immortal Hulk keys long term. I do not think this Incredible Hulk Special 1 is going to continue moving up past the annual trajectory that it does. It is an epic cover. I just don't see that book really creating a lot of profit margin opportunity as the Immortal Hulk 1 Turkish. So final answer, Immortal Hulk 1 Turkish.
Nice. So I saw one comment that Rob made. Let me highlight it. That Dr. Fry appearances in this book too. Speaking about the Immortal Hulk 1.
Is that right?
But isn't his first full appearance in issue 2?
I know his first appearance in covers
It's a
too.
big old trade paperback. It's got like, I don't know, a lot of issues in it.
Oh, it's got a lot. Okay, so it's more than just the first issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's smaller too.
Yeah. So one thing I do remember about the Turkish editions is do you all remember the Amazing Fantasy homage where it's Gwen and Miles?
Yeah, it's
right?
a fucking awesome book, and I don't have one.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to find one on eBay, like directly from the publisher, and the guy like sent me a message and all that. He was really cool, nice guy, and I mean that was exciting to like find that and to see what prices on that are right now. You know, they're crazy. I want to say raw copies are less than this graded one, so you know, as we see like more people getting into the foreign collections, I think we'll, you know, see prices increase in that too. I guess I also will admit that, you know, when I was building the slides for this Steranko, it seems like it's kind of like an outlier on the price. Like I've seen graded ones sell cheaper than this. I don't know exactly what grade it was. Even raw copies of all kinds of conditions were like way less than this. Like I want to say like easily like the average was like $100.
Good point, Aaron.
So yeah, so I mean, you know that might be slightly cheating in this decision, but that's
No, it's a cheap fucking book, dude. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So you know,
until you get to like 8590.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, for this 504 price for a fine condition, and I don't know if that's just a title because like of all of eBay's weird things, or this is before that. So because it's May, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go with the Immortal Hulk also. You know, that glow in the dark. That's probably a very niche collector kind of thing. But you know, 1 out of 10 on the census. I mean, how often are we gonna run into Sinar? I guess that's how you pronounce his last name. Like, will we ever see him in a US con? Probably not. But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting that, you know, it's already a CGC signature book for him. Pretty cool. All right, thanks, Rob, for this submission. Let's see what our next one is.
Yeah, Rob, you got to put your pick in the chat. We probably know which one though.
Yeah. So I just wanted to remind everyone to make sure to catch our Modern Playbook Roundtable. We're going to have a bangers presentation of super hot variants. This will premiere Saturday morning. So you'll see a lot of the same panelists on here. Yeah, go for it.
Can I also mention that mid-grade copies of that king size special are a good fucking buy and dirt cheap one more time. They just are. Looks cheap as hell until you get to about 8.0. Sorry.
Okay. So, yep. Make sure to also like and subscribe to the channel. So, thank you for watching and joining us. All right. So, this is from Luke, a YouTube watcher. He submitted that we should compare newsstand copies of a Spawn #1 versus a Malibu Sun 13 8.5 Error Edition. So, I looked up for just the newsstand by itself. I couldn't really find a comparison price that was close to the 2027 Malibu Sun 13 that sold 8.5 that sold in the Arrow edition that sold back in May. But I did find this Spawn #1 ×2. One is a newsstand, the other is a direct, and both are signature series. I couldn't find the exact price what it sold for, but I'm guessing it was probably around that 2K mark or below that 2,500.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. The Spawn 1 newsstands have been floating around 900,000.
Yeah. Who wants to kick it off? Dollar, you want to start it off?
Sure. I mean, this is pretty easy. It's the Malibu Sun 13 CGC 8.5 for me. Final answer.
Man,
The Era edition is it's just so tough to find. It's the first cover of Spawn. I understand it's whatever preview, what have you, but I mean it's still a first cover appearance. If I found one of these in a dollar bin, and when I say dollar bin, when I use that term, I don't mean $1, a bin that says $1. Just for anybody who's watching, I just mean back issue bins. I use that term, meaning not on the wall. But this book would probably be on the wall. But long story short, if I did find it in a back issue bin, I probably would stroke out, and you guys would never see me again. So I've always wanted this book. Now, Spawn 100s, I read something. I don't know if it was Key Collector or what have you that used a ratio an estimated ratio of 1 in 25 for the newsstands. The market, I guess you could say the market standard for the Spawn 1 newsstands were the 1 in 100 ratio. I like to think it's somewhere in between, maybe like a 1 in 75 or what have you. But all I know is there was 1 million of these things printed in 1993. And, if it is a 1 in 50 or 1 in 75 ratio, there's still a lot out there. There's not a ton, but there's still enough. This Malibu Sun 13, I mean, this book is on. I mean, I've never seen this book personally in front of my eyes besides online. So, and I like the in cover appearances also from an investment point of view. Cover appearances are really catching on right now. I even had somebody in the comments today say if a character's on the cover for the first time, then that's their first appearance, which we know that's not correct, but that was his opinion. Respect that, but I mean, cover appearances are catching fire, and I think this book long term is forget long term. Right now, I mean, it's an important book, especially with the Spawn collectors and anybody who is investing in Spawn. So I would take the 2K and I would kick it down to the Malibu Sun 13 CGC 8.5. Final answer. Oh, and I'd also be scoping that thing to see if there's any meat in the bone and see if we can get it up to like a 9.4. Final answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many copies of Spawn that were printed. #1, yeah, the newsstand is a little rarer, but shoot, like that Era edition, that's always been on the list to look forward to find. Man, 8.5, and much like Dollar said, I would risk cracking it open and pressing it and subbing it. Man, I could see that book even climbing. I mean, you had 44 bids on that book. And those fire emojis, man. I mean, that's what does it too. So, I'm going with the Malibu Sun. Malibu Sun all day, man. I mean, and it's scarce. I mean, as a collector, I mean, that's what you want. You want stuff not everybody has, so you can just flaunt it in front of them. Look what I picked up, and you don't have it, bro. Final answer.
Oh man, the segue into what Hood just said. As a collector, to a certain extent, yes, you do want to have things that not everyone has, but more importantly, you have to. If you're looking to flip, you want everything. You want things that everyone wants. So I mean, I can have a Malibu Sun, but if there's not that big of a market for it, or people willing to spend the money that it's going to take to obtain that book as a flipper, that type of book can be a headache. But if it's something that I know these are going to be liquid and I can move these books easy, then yeah, you probably want to go with the newsstand, Spawn number ones. Now I will say this on principle, I have to go with the two newsstands because essentially this Malibu Sun 13 is the same as the Marvel previews Miles Morales, and I wasn't a big fan of that book being considered a first appearance of print or any other way that you want to doctor words to make it fit an agenda. So on principle and me just standing on my morals, I have to say I got to go with the newsstands because I just look at something like the Malibu Sun as a promotional tool. Now, if you talk to me off the record, I would say, yeah, hey, I'm going with the Malibu Sun. That's cool, man. It's something that not everyone is going to have. On top of that, it's an era edition, which makes it even more rare. So the collector in me is saying the Malibu Sun 13, but the flipper investor in me is saying the two Spawn number one newsstands. But just like I said, to stand on my morals, I'm gonna go with the two Spawn number one newsstands.
So, sorry I didn't cut you off earlier, but the Spawn number one's a direct, and the other one's a newsstand. So even though it says two,
okay,
yeah. So I don't know if that changes.
Oh, all right, I see it. Yeah, I see it now in the picture.
Yeah.
Does that change your mind now?
No, I still got to stand on my morals though, because like I said, that Malibu Sun is, it's not the first actual comic. And when we had the big Miles fiasco last year, I was adamant that Marvel previews was nice. It's something that to have in the collection. It's a good story, but it's not the actual, first appearance of Miles Morales. So, yeah, I still have to go with the newsstand and the direct edition. But as far as the flip goes, yeah, that would take me off of the two Spawn number ones and put me back onto the Malibu Sun.
Hey, can I ask you something, Ninth Wonder? If let's just say Frank Castle Punisher first cover wasn't on ASM 129 and it was on the front of a Marvel Age, would that be something that you would kind of change your mindset?
Man, I can't believe you went there, man. That's a great question.
Hey, talk about holding a turd at the good end, man. Like, that's a tough question, man. Like, I would have to say, no. I gotta stand. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I probably would be okay with that. I'm not gonna lie. I probably would be okay with that. And don't get it twisted. I like the Malibu Sun. I like the Marvel's previews, Miles Morales. I would definitely invite those types of books into my collection. It's just if I had to prioritize, I would want the actual comic book over anything else, just for my personal preference and my personal beliefs. Because I can just say I wasn't getting these books graded and I was keeping them raw. I can't really show my kid the Malibu Sun and at least try to give him an idea of who Spawn is. But I can show him that number one and he can read that and just say, okay, even if I never read another Spawn book again, I understand why my old man loved this character.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna jump off that and say, yeah, I agree. I think you should never underestimate the regular cover, the cover A. There of a big key. It's as a seller, you're going to be able to sell that faster than anything. It's going to appreciate. I know this game is kind of an either or kind of game, obviously. But in real life, I'd want both of them. And the Spawn newsstand the bottom one is much easier to come by. So I'm going to definitely go with the Malibu Sun 13. I agree with you on the, as far as labeling something like the first appearance, if it's a promotional book, that can't take away from the actual first appearance in comics. But it doesn't mean I don't want it to. So I'm going to go Malibu Sun.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to go with the two Spawns. I know we've had the 2 copies versus 1 copy and another dealer Flipside, and I like the idea of having to, in order to sort of climb the ladder up. You can sell one at one point and then sell the other, at hopefully another higher point. So I like that ability to sort of place 2 bets rather than 1. I think this would be more difficult if they were not signed, because I am looking at the census now. There are a ton. There's actually almost 10,000 9.8s of Spawn, but Spawn number 1, but there's only about a quarter of them are signed. So I think people are going to want Todd's signature the same way they want Stan Lee's signature and some of the other giants of the industry, Jim Lee, for example. So I don't, I know a lot of times on this show, we poo-poo the signatures, but on this one, I think it is there is some true value to that. I have owned some Malibu Suns, just not issue 13. So I have been able to go through the guts of them, and they are, very boring. It's pretty much a previews. Although, in things that I love, like DC, I have a DC Spotlight 9.8, which is a little more than a previews, but still not, quite a full comic that has the first Watchmen in it and the first Dark Knight. So I think if I were like a Spawn collector, I'd want the Malibu Sun. But as an investor, I'd and a flip and looking at flipping these, I'd want the Spawn number 1s, the 2 of them signed. Nico, what do you think?
Phil, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go after you, George.
All right. Yeah, I think you guys are all fucking out of your mind. Malibu Sun 1385. Get the fuck out of here. Do you know how much this goofy hat costs? It's like some old hat from back in the 90s. It's like $150 fucking dollars. I just found it. The Spawn people are crazy. They buy weird shit like hats and fucking preview mags and all that stuff. And these things don't even come up for sale. There's a reason there's 10,000 9/8s of Spawn number 1. Because people fucking buy them. They keep fucking buying that trash. I sold 3 Spawn 1 newsstands this weekend to some dude from New York. He looked at me like I was giving him a hand job under the table. He was so fucking happy, like, oh my God, they're how cheap? Just like, dude, get them the fuck away from me. That error, on the other hand, I've never seen one. Never fucking seen one. I mean, I've seen pictures of one. I've seen the not error. And I don't frankly understand Spawn. I stopped reading it, God, I don't know. It's close to fucking after issue 9 as possible. I was like, well, it'll never get as good as Gaiman, and it wasn't that good, like, and I hear people tell me it's good. I just don't like Spawn. I wish Todd McFarlane was drawing, and Greg Capullo were drawing Batman and Spider-Man, but the fuck do I know? So I'm done. Sorry for the rant.
What you got, Phil?
Yeah, so people have been knocking down that Malibu Sun 13. They're saying like, yeah, that's not an error edition. They just ran out of ink when they printed the back, right? And then also there's been books that or other publications that have predated Malibu Sun 13. That said, I like to say I would probably get the Malibu Sun 13. It's always been pretty high, even with way back, right? I would buy it, get it signed at the next Todd McFarlane signing, and give it to CCS after that to press. That would be my play for that book. It will take forever to get it back. It will.
That's a fucking good play, Phil.
Yeah, it will take a long ass time to get it back. Maybe 8, 9, 12 months. Who knows? Whatever, right? McFarlane is rumored to maybe be doing his next CGC signing in the winter. So it's a long while. It could be a 2-year play, but yeah. The premium on McFarlane signatures are usually about 30% on top sometimes. So, yeah.
That's a great point.
8.5. Malibu Sun 13.
Plus soft grades. I
Yeah.
said it. I fucking said it.
I love error books. Like, I mean, I know they like shoot up in price like right away, and then they dip like really fast, right? Like traditionally on modern errors. It's funny to me, and I just love finding them like 3-6 months later, and people forget about them, and then they just price it at, you know, like cover price or a little bit higher than that. And I love picking them up. Like I'll pick them up all day, like no shame. So it's funny to me that like people's memories are so short on it.
So true.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely been eyeing the Malibu Sun 13 Error Edition for probably a year now, and it's like it hasn't slowed down. I want to say like easily 2 years ago, like 98s were about 2K, around there. But I mean, it's impressive to see an 8.5 jumping up to that price. And yeah, those signatures do add a premium, especially like with some of the rarer books, and you know, especially this Error Edition, right? So I mean, that is a great play, Phil. So yeah,
Hey,
Malibu Sun for me.
Aaron, it's funny. I feel the same way about error editions, and I guess the talk this week was Dylan possibly
my
becoming
mind.
Venom. Okay, so Nico knows where I'm going. We've talked about this multiple times, and so many people forget about this book. But Winter Soldier #1, it was released the same day as Venom #9. It's got, I think it has either 10 or 12 pages of Venom 9 where Dylan makes his first full appearance. It's out there. It was recalled. CGC acknowledges it. Look for that book. They pop up. Look for that book.
That's a good play.
You read my mind, sir.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you, Luke. I hope you're watching, and yeah, if you have more submissions, like, and you'd like us to, you know, hear what our panel thinks about your comparisons, like, we'll put them up. All right, and so Kyle Rierson, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. This is his Instagram tag at the bottom of the screen. He sent me a message after last week when we had our recorded one premiere, and was like, he's like, here you go. Bids redacted. This is the Dealer Flipside Classified Edition. So both of the next books are that we'll list will not have how many bidders were on it, and we'll just go down the panel real quick, and then I'll reveal the bids afterwards. So let's pull up our comparison. So this is a Robert submission. So okay, so we have El Sorprendente Hombre Arana for 128. sold for $4,310. And then we have an Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1 CGC 7.0 that sold for $4,850.
You make my fucking head hurt, Aaron.
I live in Texas, so I guess I kind of got that Spanish right. I don't know. Does it sound good? Let me know in the comments.
Arana.
I start.
Yeah, no. So we'll just go down the line real quick. Just tell us your book, and then if you want to throw in comments after we reveal the bids.
I like
our
when
last set.
I like when Nico starts with these niche books. Then I get a little bit of education.
Yeah, you're just real quick. I'm oh man, that's a fucking hard one. ASM Annual 170. It's a $7,000 book. There, I gave it away for you. But the fucking El Superintendente Hombre Arana is probably still a fucking infinitely fucking better buy.
Woo.
You might never get one in that fucking shape ever again. But I'll still take the ASM Annual because it's one of my favorite books. Anyway, not that the other one isn't. My head's gonna explode. It's such a good fucking choice. The Annual.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Annual as well. I have a single copy of the Annual. I've been holding it, and especially with the recent announcement of the Craven movie, you got to think that they're building towards the Sinister Six appearing on screen. I think this book's has. I think that's a catalyst, and this is a key. There's more Spotty collectors than Spotty foreign collectors. I'm pretty sure of that. So I feel like there's more demand. Aaron, is also part of the game we guess the number of bids for each one? Because I'm going to say 33 on the top one and 25 on the lower one.
Ooh, that's a good twist to it. Yeah, we can go with that too.
Just for shits and giggles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
Right.
bonus points. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
When no one's keeping score, but yeah, we'll do that.
Tony, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute.
Now I'm not on mute. Thank you.
Nope.
I'm gonna go with I know Nico. I know you're right. The Amazing Spider-Man Annual. It's a better play. It's probably got more real value right now. And as a seller, I should be making all my decisions based on logic. But in the same way that I run my fantasy football team, I tend to shy away from the tried and true picks and go for the insane underdogs quite often. So I'm gonna go. I know the mystique behind the top pick, and I would love to own one of those. That's a crazy number, but for the purpose of this game, I'm going with the Arana. Yep, final answer.
Oh man, to piggyback off what Tony was saying, I'm an avid fantasy football player. I love to do best ball, and I always invest in young, up and coming players that nobody is really looking at, late in the draft because they have tons of upside. I do feel that the Arana has a lot of upside, rather potential than the Annual. But if we ever see a proper Sinister Six in the MCU or even in the Sonyverse and it bleeds over into the MCU, I think that this Annual has just as much potential. So I guess I will go with that. I guess I will go with the Annual, man. That book is just hard to beat. I know, rarity matters a lot, but to me, history and prestige matters more. and this is a very important book to the history and the prestige of Spider-Man.
Very true.
Oh my god. This is God, I love that cover. The Spanish Spider-Man, that is such a rare book, man. You don't see it. But what they're building right now, and they've never really attempted it. They talked about it, but the castings with Morbius, that's on the way, and now Craven. I just think that it's coming, and that book is a tough book to press just because of the spine, and it's almost like a giant size X-Men, right? I got to go with the annual in a 7.0, man. It looks clean, dude. I mean, I could see, if the Sinister 6 comes out and it's a hit, that book can easily be a $10,000 book, knowing the way the market is right now. Would I like to have that Spanish rare book? Hell yeah. But man, 7.0, it's already slabbed. I mean, it's ready to go to sell, once there's more heat put on it. I mean, you could make some money with that Amazing Spider-Man CGC 7.0. I'm guessing maybe there's 30 bids on the first one and 20 on the second. What do you think, Dollar?
So, I mean, the Arana, or I'm not even going to try to pronounce the second word, but Hombre Arana. I would love to have that book, but I didn't know anything about it until it was on a CBSI Hot 10, like 2.5 years ago. It was like the top book or whatever, so I didn't even know anything about it. That being said, Ditko, Stan Lee, on the ASM Annual 1, possibly Stanley wasn't really. Well, let me take that back. Stanley was good with collaboration and stories, in the sense that Kirby and Stanley, Kirby and Ditko and Stanley, it was just off the chain. But story-wise, I think this is one of the best stories that he's ever written. I mean, not only you got the first appearance, the team appearance of the Sinister Six, but like my brother up above, Steve, said, early appearance. You have a very early appearance of Craven. I think it's his third appearance. Vulture, Mysterio, third appearance. And on top of that, there's a spotlight in the ASM Annual one on Dr. Doom and the Lizard's profile as a character. And I believe after the actual story, in story, there's some additional pages, and they basically put in perspective, gives the reader a bird's eye view on Spider-Man's powers and how his little web shooters and whatnot work or what have you. And that book, like an annual, it's got a lot to offer. Big thick book. Like Joe, I would be looking for more meat on the bone to see if we can get it up to a higher grade or what have you. But it's beautiful. On the other hand, the Arana is also this seller. I want to find out who this seller is. I kind of like his grading, because from my point of view, it actually looks better than the 3.5, except for the dog ears corners. But it presents very, very well. That book would be ready to. Press and slab, and it looks better than the 3.5 to me. So from a collector's point of view, I would take the ASM Annual 1, and from the investor in me, long term. Oh shit, this is tough. I take the Arana. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at this book. It looks a lot better than a 3.5. Now, I mean, it could be just because I'm on a small monitor. The MacBook's only got 13 inches. Same with me. But no, yeah, I mean, it just looks better in a 3.5. I could totally see this thing come back at like a 4.550 and, you know, call it a day. So final answer, Arana. Thanks, Aaron.
Nice. Wow. So ASM 121. So this book is related to the Arana book. That book, like in a CGC 9.0, I'm not sure if it's cracked $1,000 yet, and it's been trailing, right? Even in this market, I would say even like maybe 5 years ago, that ASM 121 was the same price of a Tomb of Dracula 10, right? And just across the board with all the grades. That said, I like to say that book is still trailing, and this book, this Spanish book, is where Gwen Stacy survives 121. So that is pretty neat. But the ASM Annual 1 is such a big book. Like the last big show I did at Baltimore Comic-Con, I think Nico was there too. He probably was asked. People were asking, do you have an ASM Annual 1? Do you have an ASM Annual 1? I did have 2 on my wall, actually. I did end up selling I think I sold like a 6.5 on consignment for like, yeah, some good money, right? Person
That's
paid
my
market.
boy. That's my boy.
They were super happy. They were super happy. That ASM Annual 1 also has a Canadian variant where you flip the back with these square bound books and it's completely blank. There's no ad. It's just a white cover. And that book has gone up too. Yeah, so gotta go with the wave on the vintage. There's just a million collectors trying to fill an ASM run. We know the Sinister Six is coming. Is it going to be the original Sinister Six? That's yet to be seen.
Just thinking that.
Yeah, you know. But you just got to ride this wave, man. And that book is just going to keep going up. The Ombre Arana also has a reprint, a German reprint that was a couple years ago, and which is a good buy, actually. But yeah, I got to go with the sure thing of ascending value and pick the Sinister Six. I'd like to guess maybe with the foreign trend, there could have been like maybe 41, 43 bids on the Arana, and then maybe 55 bids with the square bound Sinister Six. So CGC 7.0 ASM Annual 1, final answer.
Nice.
What do you think, Aaron?
So wasn't the this Hombre Arana, wasn't that covered on Flipside Monday show like a couple weeks ago, I want to say? Is this the one that's known as the Big Booty Gwen book? Is that No, that's not this book.
No, so there's the wedding issue, Big Booty Gwen issue. There's an entire like run of these non-canon books that were published by La Presna out of Mexico. Somebody asked in the comments, like, is this a Spanish book? Well, some of them, because, you know, obviously they don't speak Mexican. In Mexico, they speak Spanish, made it to Spain and other Spanish-speaking countries. I don't know if they were initially published there, like, if that's how that fucking happened, or if they've just matriculated there, like, or what the deal was. But you can, like, hunt for them in their marketplaces. And
Gotcha.
they're fucking amazing. I literally would like, I'd give a tooth for the fucking wedding issue. Have had a ton of them, have never had that one. And this was like the hardest dealer flip side ever for me.
Wow.
I'm sitting here like fucking like,
Yeah. You know, And from what I know from talking to different foreign collectors, it's like it's hard to get, high grade books, like, because they don't treat them the same as we do, and some of their shipping practices can be questionable at best, right?
Is that fucking Duran original art? I'm sorry, Aaron.
No worries. Yeah, Joe, we'll show it. We'll highlight it after this book. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a Hombre Arana. Maybe I'm in Texas, like, I could probably maybe hunt it down a little bit in someone's like random back issue bin, and they don't know what they have, just because, like,
You got King Kong balls.
So
Jesus.
Yeah. All right, so let me reveal the bids. I think Phil is closest, so it's 42 on the Hombre. I don't remember if anyone was close on the Amazing Spider-Man Annual. So
I don't know what the bid thing has to do with
I
it.
said 20.
Like,
I said 20 on the annual.
Like, but what does that
Nice.
mean? Like, the bidders were cheaper, they went in smaller increments, or like, who fucking cares? I don't understand what the fuck. I remember listening to somebody.
I don't
insult. Yeah, so I don't insult someone personally. I remember somebody saying that, like, well, there's more bids on this one, so I'm gonna go with that. And I was like, that's fucking stupid. This is a terrible fucking observation. The fuck does that even mean?
I went with 20 on that. I went with 20 to 25 on that annual.
I get a mental picture.
I was totally
Good
screwing
guess.
around about the number of bids.
But see, somebody said in the chat that on that Arana, the bidding started off at 99 cents, so it would that one would just naturally have to have more bids on it.
That would help too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe-
Ninth Wonder with another astute fucking observation of why the bidding shit doesn't matter.
Maybe he meant how many bidders.
That would be fucking interesting. How many different people were like, can I get a little? Can I also mention that the Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1 and the wedding issue, for lack of a better description, are two books that I would take in almost any fucking condition that are Silver Age. And there's very few Silver Age books that I'd say that about. But like, I don't care if somebody ran over them with a car. I'd still be happy to call them a PC book. Take them fucking home and love them.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to say also is, like, when I was doing the making the slides for this, the Hombre Arana, there was like literally just this copy and the reprint even sells for $100. So I thought that was pretty impressive. So
I got the reprint around here somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to remind everyone, thank you for joining us. Make sure to use the code Flipside to get a 2-week free subscription for the Key Collector app. And I want to ask Ninth Wonder, so where else can we find you? Because I know I've seen you on It's Drunken Chat. And
Yeah, you're smart. I want to fucking follow your ass on IG or YouTube or all the places.
I had a good time with you, brother.
Man, you can always so Drunken Chat, you'll find me on there Friday nights. You can follow me on Instagram. My screen name is exactly how you see it here, The Ninth Wonder. I do have a YouTube channel. I'm not posting as much content as I should, but I have a lot of content backed up that I need to get out to you guys. I just really right now I'm just at a point of deciding how I want to release this stuff, but I definitely got stuff coming. I think one thing about myself is that I took a step back from collecting because when I came back like really last year during the pandemic, but from 2016 to 2020, I was strictly just reading comic books and I was making investments in other places, and it completely changed my mindset and strategy. Before, I didn't even get into grading books or anything of that nature. And once I saw how much graded books were going for, I was like, well, I definitely got to rethink some things. And my strategy on that has been pretty aggressive, just as far as hunting books down and having the balls to crack a slab open and resubmit it for grading and getting into Mark Jewelers and foreign variants and everything of that nature. So it's just my whole life did a complete 180 in the past year, and my wife is always looking like, "You want to spend how much on a comic book?" And I'm like, "Trust me, it'll be worth it." And so far, I've been proving her right. So that means that the amount of money we can spend on these books are only gonna increase. But with that being said, I think that a lot of collectors who are older have a lot of good perspective, but newer collectors have a lot of good perspective too. And you just have to try to bring that together to maximize the most of what you can do. And my number one thing is I just like to follow as many people as I can and learn like who's a straight shooter and who's full of BS, and just learn what people specialize in. And I hear people in the DMs when I have questions. Aaron will tell you, like, even like the littlest stuff, I ask at least 4 or 5 people, hey, should I do this? Should I walk away from this? Just to try to get, a database of, my decision making, on hand. And so, like I said, I'm new to this, but I'm true to this, man. I put a lot of time and money in. I don't really post about everything I do, but if you go to my Instagram, you can kind of tell where my mind is at and how I invest my money into these books.
Well, I will add that our good friend and very respected Mighty Mel V, he has said some very good things about you. And you did mention that you play fantasy football, so I need to get your email after this so I can invite you to the Flipside League. All right?
Yeah, that's honestly, you know what?
Drunken Chat's in it too. So
my investment strategies, a lot of it comes from fantasy football. I'm really big into like DraftKings and FanDuel, so I'm used to dropping a lot of freaking money on something that 9 times out of 10 you don't win money on that stuff, but that one time that you win and you make back your life spending on fantasy football, it's a euphoric rush. So honestly, the comic book game is like decreased my spending on gambling like tenfold. So I think honestly, I'm probably up like my wife is happy. She like, oh, you're not playing DraftKings every day and spending thousands on that. Okay, yeah, buy all the little books you want.
Nice. And then, yeah, I also want to give you a shout out because I mean, like some of your giveaways on this Drunken Chat, they're fucking awesome, man. Like amazing. So
and it's more coming. It's more coming. I love giving stuff away. I like to see people.
Did you beat my giveaway? I
What's
gave
that?
away the second print Bagley and the second print Pacelli near mint copies.
Oh,
They were all both of them together.
nice. Yeah. All right. So before we go, Joe, you want to go ahead and show off what you were trying to show us earlier? Because I'm pretty sure it was hard to see. Amazing.
Nice. Beautiful.
So
So,
the fuck out. Is that Duran OA?
no, this is a artist.
Raul Gonzalez.
No, this is Jeremy Latcha, and he does custom renditions of books. And so I got this off of auction on Keep It Thorough. Shout out Keep It Thorough. What's up, man? But
Love Thorough. What up, Thorough?
yeah,
Come on the
so-
show, buddy.
so yeah,
What's
Jeremy
up,
Latcha. I don't know, but
Thorough people.
so Jeremy Latcher does these custom renditions of covers. If you go look him up on IG, it's jaw dropping. And I saw this cover and I didn't even hesitate. So I won this on an auction, and it came. I went and got a frame for it and everything. Man, it's just a beautiful piece. So
Fuck yeah, it is, Joe. Jesus.
Nice job, Joe.
All right. I want to thank all the panelists for joining me for this Dealer Flipside's live version. You know, it was a ton of fun. I want to remind the audience that if you have submissions, you can hit me up on Instagram, or you can drop it in the comment. Not in the live comments, but like on the replay comment. And then for our sign off, I just want to say, if you dress up like Batman, make sure to go down on Catwoman.
I didn't see